No matter who you are or what your background is, life can be a difficult thing. But obviously, some people do have it easier than others. So today, I'm going to be ranking how difficult life is in general for men and women based on how attractive they are. So we'll be looking at attractive men and women, average looking men and women, and ugly men and ugly women. So groups ranked in the S tier have the most difficult lives, and groups ranking in the F tier have the easiest lives. And everything I say here is based on a meta-analysis of more than 111 published studies from legitimate scientific institutions. So you're not allowed to get mad at me personally if anything I say here offends you. So please, just trust the science and hit that like button. Okay, so to kick things off, let's talk about how difficult life is for God's perfect angels, aka attractive women. Now, obviously, attractive women as a group don't have the most difficult lives. They simultaneously benefit from institutional power while at the same time being the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. So when it comes to getting a job and getting promotions at that job, attractive women are playing on easy mode. It actually doesn't even matter what an attractive woman's resume says because as long as she has a photo on LinkedIn showcasing her beautiful smile, she will get the job. Her only true competition in this world is other attractive women. But of course, attractive women don't actually need to work a job in the first place. That's just something they have the option of doing if they want to. But an attractive woman can also just as easily get married to the man of her dreams and let him support her financially. Or if she's just really enjoying the single life, she can just start an OF account and make a living selling her used bathwater. Or she can just make a zero-effort YouTube channel where she just repeats red pill talking points over and over again while blabbering on like a damn idiot, because as long as she puts a picture of herself in the thumbnail, she's guaranteed to get hundreds of thousands of views. But I'm not complaining. I mean, personally, I think women have been subjugated and oppressed throughout all of history and even today, and frankly, I'm just downright sick of it. So, I think it's a good thing we as a society and all the major corporations have collectively agreed to create thousands of fake jobs to ensure that the Stacys of the world never have to stress about employment. I mean, sure, an attractive woman could easily get hired into any decent paying blue collar position she wanted. I mean, imagine a 22-year-old 9 out of 10 woman walking onto a construction site and asking for a job as a crane operator. Do you really think they're gonna turn her down? They would literally fire their most loyal employee to make room for her just so they could maybe, hopefully, someday have a chance to smell her chair after she gets up to go on break. But why should an attractive woman, or any woman for that matter, be subjected to such lowly labor? I, for one, think it's a good thing all the major corporations have created a jobs program for attractive women. I'm talking about HR jobs, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's a great thing because it lets ambitious women get a taste of what hard work feels like as they're wiping the beads of sweat off their forehead after sending their third email of the day. And it also gives women the means to support themselves so they don't have to enter into unfulfilling marriages and start families. But anyway, yeah, so attractive women have it made when it comes to jobs and careers. But what about romantically? Well, they don't struggle much in that department either. An attractive woman can literally just live her life normally, going about her day, and she'll have every type of man you can imagine approaching her with romantic interest. And honestly, I can see how that would get annoying over time, especially considering the fact that most of the men approaching her aren't even going to be close to living up to her standards. But I think most people would agree that having too many options is a lot better than having no options at all. So, yeah. In terms of career and job opportunities, attractive women have it easy. And romantically, they have it easy. So, I mean, what else is there to say? Attractive women are living life on easy mode. So they are clearly in the F tier when it comes to overall life difficulty. Now let's talk about the average looking woman. I know this might be somewhat controversial depending on who you ask, but ultimately, I don't think average looking women really have much more difficulty in life compared to their more attractive counterparts. 'Cause look, just like attractive women, average women also benefit from the corporate fake jobs program. And aside from that, just like attractive women, average women also receive preferential treatment in hiring. Remember the thing I said about how an attractive woman could just walk onto any construction site any day of the week and get hired immediately? Well, the same thing goes for an average looking woman as well. And romantically speaking, average looking women, just like attractive women, can simply just go about their everyday lives and they are pretty much guaranteed to find love eventually because men will approach them. And these are attractive men too. It's easy for an average looking woman to date men above her looks level because all the most attractive men are dating multiple women and women don't mind sharing their man if he's attractive enough. So attractive women date attractive men, and average women also date attractive men. So yeah, go ahead and check my math on that if you want. But again, everything I'm saying here is based on empirical data, so good luck. Now, I'm not saying life is all sunshine and rainbows for the average looking woman, and she certainly doesn't have it as easy as the attractive woman. But most of an average woman's biggest problems in life are self-inflicted. For example, average-looking women are prone to depression and feelings of insecurity because they can't help but compare themselves to famous Instagram models and celebrities. It's just part of human nature to always crave more, and average-looking women just so happen to be some of the biggest victims of jealousy. And I'm sure it probably does hurt pretty bad when all the chads she gives it up for never end up committing to her. But I can't really feel too bad for the average looking woman considering how easy their lives are in the grand scheme of things. So average looking women are in the D tier in terms of how difficult life is for them. Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Life for the average looking man is a lot more difficult than it is for the average looking woman. Men are expected to be the initiators in all romantic interactions, so regardless of how a man looks, he's gonna have at least some difficulty with dating because he's at the very least gonna have to try to put forth some effort if he wants to meet women. But realistically, since most men naturally want to get with as many women as humanly possible, average-looking women tend to have plenty of actually attractive men approaching them on a regular basis. So average-looking men usually have to settle for ugly women unless they're okay with being alone. And when it comes to work, the thing that society expects men to do in order to make a living and survive and provide for their families, well, men don't benefit from the guaranteed fake jobs program subsidized by corporate America. No, men are actually expected to work labor-intensive jobs, whether that be mental or physical labor. And men are also expected to be the ones working dangerous jobs like hanging power lines and chopping down trees and things of that nature. And obviously, there are high-paying jobs for men out there that have a reasonable enough work-life balance, but average-looking men don't tend to get those jobs. Those jobs tend to be reserved for more attractive men who have the confidence and self-assuredness afforded only to those who have been living under the halo effect their whole lives. And I don't know if it's always been like this. Maybe if you go far enough back in history, life was easier for the average-looking man. But in the 2020s, I can say without a doubt, life is just brutally difficult for men of even average looks. So generally speaking, I think it's fair to say that the average man is living life on hard mode. A tier. So we already said that attractive women are living life on easy mode, but what about attractive men? Well, attractive men certainly don't struggle as badly as ugly men, but they also don't benefit from all of the things that make an attractive woman's life so easy. For example, an attractive man can't just apply to any job he wants and get hired immediately just based off his looks. His looks will help, but he will need to at least have some basic qualifications for the job. And actually, attractive men can sometimes take advantage of the woman's fake jobs program by getting a job in human resources, but that's only in rare cases when no actual women have applied. But overall, attractive men do benefit from the halo effect during interviews, and really they just benefit from the halo effect in every facet of life throughout their whole lives, which means they're more likely to make better grades, they're more likely to get hired, they're more likely to get promotions, and just in general, they get treated better by everyone in society. So yeah, they really don't have it that bad. However, compared to an attractive woman, attractive men do have some significant struggles. While dating is pretty easy for attractive men, they do have to at least put forth a little bit of effort to initiate conversations with women. And that's not really a big hurdle for most attractive men since they'll naturally be extremely confident, having gone through life living under the halo effect. But there are some outliers who might have some mental issues like high inhibition or social anxiety, which can occur in attractive men, especially those that were less attractive in their younger years. So, for some attractive men, dating can present some level of difficulty, although admittedly this is relatively rare. But something to note is that an attractive man will have to put in significantly more effort if he wants to date equally attractive women. He can really have his pick of the litter among average-looking women, but for attractive women, they have no reason to settle for anything less than their dream man. So attractive men are kinda in the middle in terms of life difficulty because they obviously have it pretty good compared to other men, but compared to the life of even the average woman, the attractive man does at least have to put forth some effort. I'm putting attractive men in the C tier. Alright, so now let's talk about ugly women. And I know most of you are probably expecting me to say that even ugly women are living life on easy mode. But actually, I don't think that's true. I think most ugly women, like truly ugly women, they probably do have some struggles when it comes to dating. Now, obviously, their struggles aren't anything even close to the struggles men face. But ugly women aren't all out there snatching up their own personal chads left and right. I know some of you like to act like that's how it is, but it's not. With that said, like all women, ugly women are usually able to date above their own looks level. And it is true that ugly women don't really suffer much from loneliness because there's just an oversupply of lonely, desperate, average-looking men out there that will settle if that's what they have to do to get laid. So ugly women don't really have it too bad when it comes to dating, even compared to above-average-looking men. And as far as work and careers is concerned, I don't think ugly women really have things too bad in that department either. 'Cause see, the way the corporate fake jobs program works, well, let me explain it like this. Every Stacy, no matter who she is, if she lives long enough, every Stacy eventually turns into a hag. That's just how aging works. So sometimes a company might accidentally end up with a hag heading up the HR department because they hired her on as a Stacy, but then time went by and before anyone even realized what was happening, there was a fucking hag in the hen's house. So with human nature being what it is, a hag that used to be a Stacy, I mean, that's a big, big fall from grace. So most old hags in that position, they are very reluctant to relinquish their status as head hen. So when a hag has hold of the reins and she has the ability to prevent a fresh young Stacy from pushing her out and overshadowing her, you better believe that's exactly what she's going to do. So a lot of times, because it's actually not even all that uncommon, an ugly woman can actually have a better chance of getting hired than an attractive woman just because the hag in charge of hiring doesn't want any young, attractive women making her look bad. So yeah, ugly women aren't exactly living life on easy mode, but they aren't really suffering either, even compared to the most attractive men. So I'd have to say, when it comes to how difficult life is overall for ugly women, C tier. Alright, so you know I had to save the best for last. So let's go ahead and talk about ugly men. Now, when it comes to the topic of how difficult life is for ugly men, I know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm living that life. And I have been living that life for a long time now. So I'm not even going to make you wait for the answer because I'm sure you already know, but ugly men are living life on nightmare difficulty. S, 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 S tier. S tier, okay? Ugly men live more difficult lives than mosquitoes, because at least a mosquito might get to suck on some titty meat before it dies. And I really can't say the same for me and my fellow sub-5s. And I could go on and on about how being an ugly man makes it nearly impossible to get a good job and more than nearly impossible to find love, and how it all contributes to horrible mental health issues that make life barely worth living, but you've heard it all before. I mean, it's the main thing I talk about on this channel. So instead of repeating all the same brutal details I've been drilling into my audience's skulls for the past year, or however long it's been, instead I'll just end this video short, the same way